So in this quick inspired download, I just want to say to you to stop going after what it is you want, because you believe that in the having of it, you will be better, happier, freer, more worthy of approval, etc., etc., etc. Because this kind of thinking means you're operating from a paradigm of I'm not enough, which means you'll consistently attract situations, people, events that will continue to reinforce and perpetuate that into a chronic state of not enoughness. I'm not enough. And you've probably had experiences, if this resonates with you, you've had experiences where you progress, you get so far towards your goal, maybe you get so close, but then you self-sabotage. And it's like you've got this invisible bungee rope on your back. You get so far and then you get pulled back, yanked back. And if you go through this cycle enough times, you notice that, well, I get back up, I dust myself off, and then I work harder, I push for longer, I strive, I hustle, I grind, I label myself a hyperachiever. And yet all the time you're just caught in this actual cycle, this loop. So your progress is slow. You never feel like you're making any permanent change or transformation. And when you go through this loop, even just a couple of times, you start to add an extra dimension of fear, because you start to anticipate the self-sabotage. It's like learned helplessness. And I get it, because this was me for a few years in my business, that I was caught up in this cycle of self-sabotage followed by hyperachiever progress and then back and then, so I get it. And it wasn't until I recognized that, that you've got to do that inner work. You've got to access what are those beliefs that keep you caught up in these chronic states of not enoughness. And it's never enough to say, when I believe it, then I'll see it. That's not enough. You've got to become it in order to see it. So you've got to step into the truth that, of the person who is living their desires now and not feeling overwhelmed in fear and scarcity. You've got to step into that prosperous version of you. You've got to step into the creative, productive, solution-orientated version of you now. You've got to step into the courageous version of you now, the person who is self-aware, taking aligned action. You've got to become it in order to receive it. And when you can do that, that is being versus doing. That's when life starts to expand. That's when everything you desire starts to flow in with greater ease. Become it now, and then you'll experience it. Then you're opening up the doors for it to come in.